Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Yoga with Janine. Today we're going to be practicing a prenatal yoga practice with Samantha. Welcome, Samantha. The theme today is to connect with our roots and to get grounded. So if we think of prenatal yoga as or being a mother as being connected to a lineage of women who have given birth before you, then I find that sometimes brings a sense of ease. Because often, although this is not your first child, often with women who are giving birth for the first time or are pregnant for the first time, there's kind of a sense of anxiety about like what to expect and can they do it, and maybe you're feeling like that at home, and maybe you're feeling that even after having this is your third, but just remembering that women have been giving birth for millennia and in all the different kingdoms, the human kingdom and all the animal kingdoms, and that you're in that path with your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and your whole lineage, so is kind of standing behind you. So today we're going to be working a lot of standing poses and different seated poses that will help ground us into those roots. So remembering that as we practice. So take a comfortable seat. And with your eyes closed, lengthen up through your spine and take a moment to settle the seat and widen the sitting bones to the sides. And feel your breath. Connecting with your breath, follow the breath in towards baby and down into your roots, just the energy of the breath moving down through baby into the earth. You can even bring your hands to your belly so that as you breathe, you're breathing with baby. You're breathing with all of the women who came before you. You can even bring to mind the women in your life that represent motherhood or even strength, that allow you to feel more comfortable and steady in this position that you find yourself in as a mother, and a mother to this new baby. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. Your heart that's connected to baby's heart, that's connected to all of your ancestry. To all the great women who came before. And let's open the practice with 3 sounds of Om, honoring the body, honoring baby's body, and honoring where both of you have come from this lineage of women who have given birth for ages. And it is in gratitude to them that we are all here right now. So tapping into that, the sisterhood, the womanhood of mothers past, to get grounded and feel connected. Let's take a deep breath in. Oh. start low to the ground so that we have a sense of connection to the earth. And you can start to just circle the hips around on all fours. You start to feel the opening of the hips. The deepening of the breath, and breathe into the back of your body, into the sides of your ribs, and circle the other direction. So part of the prenatal yoga practice is to feel a greater sense of connection to our own bodies, especially since the body's going through so many changes. Can sometimes feel like we're not ourselves anymore. So connecting with our own bodies, and then come back to all fours in the center. And lengthen the sides of your waist, lengthen all the way through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, round the back. Push the floor away from you, but feel that the grounding of the hands and the legs. Inhale and lengthen your spine. There's a long straight line, and then exhale to round the back. Three more times. And see if you can round by tilting the tailbone down and rounding the lower back, and then the middle back, and then the upper back. So feeling that sense of connection from the earth into your body. Really embracing, one more time, embracing this time that you have in your new body. A body that so many have experienced before as mothers, and come back to center. Now, you're going to tuck your toes under and press back into a little downward facing dog. So you're just going to lift your knees up slightly and push your hips back and get more stretch to the shoulders. Keep the knees bent. Breathe into the back and sides of your waist. And exhale, press your hands into the earth as you lengthen up through into your pelvis and down through the toes. So the fingers and toes act like roots that connect you into your lineage. And then bring your knees back down to the ground on all fours. Walk your hands to the right. And reach your, you're going to cross your left hand over your right, and you're going to push your hips back, keeping space for baby, just to stretch your left side of your body. And breathe into the left side of your body. Exhale to soften in the upper back. Letting the heart melt every time you exhale. One more breath. And then inhale to come back to center and walk over to the left. And breathe into the right side of the body, softening the heart as you exhale. Two more breaths. And after your exhalation, come back up to center. And then keeping your toes tucked under, you're going to sit back on your heels for a toe stretch, and you'll bring your knees up to the blocks. At home, if you don't have blocks, you can put your knees up on some blankets or 2 pillows or books. Lengthen your spine. And just relax the muscles of the face and let the weight kind of drop into the toes. And feel the tissues of the feet kind of opening and stretching. It's really good for circulation. If you have a lot of swelling in the feet or ankles, this is great to do just before lifting your feet. You can kind of sit like this for a little bit and then, lift your feet up on a chair, or if you're earlier on in your pregnancy, you can lift it up on the wall. Just to invert. Just 2 more breaths. Breathe out into the sides of your ribs, to the back of your waist. Good. And then come off of the blocks. And come up to standing. So stand in the middle of your mat with your feet a little wider, and let the feet ground and circle the hips like we did on all fours. And as you circle the hips, keep the knees soft. So when we lock the knees, we tend to cut ourselves off from our foundation, from our roots. So keeping the knees soft, and also I find it brings like a more fluid movement into the body. So the body becomes more in this, the flow of our ancestry, other direction. And then coming back to center, lift your arms overhead, interlace your fingers and point your index fingers up. Take a deep breath into the sides of your ribs, and as you press down into your feet, lengthen all the way up. Feel your connection to your roots and the feet, and use that connection to feel more embodied in your pregnancy body. Start to feel more like yourself, that, okay, this is who I am as a mother, connected to my roots, my ancestry, my lineage of all the mothers that came before you. And then lean to your right side. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, interlace your hands behind your back and stretch the chest open. Open the chest. But try not to overarch the back. So keep breathing into the back of your waist. And it's harder to breathe into the belly when we're pregnant, but we can find other areas to breathe into. And that makes the pregnant body kind of a landscape of discoveries. You can find different places to breathe into. Good. And then release your arms. Good. Step forward towards the front of your mat. And with your feet wider than hip distance apart, inhale, reach your arms up, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees and come down into what we call downhill skier pose. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, bring your hands down inside your feet and step your right foot back into a lunge. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, sit a little bit deeper in your left buttock. Keep breathing here into the spaces that you can find to breathe into. And then as you exhale, place your palms on the floor and step back into downward facing dog. Bring your knees down. Inhale, lift and open your chest, but keep toning through the abdomen. And then exhale, separate your knees and sit back into half child's pose or child's pose. come back up to all fours. Take your right foot to the outside of your right hand for lunge. Lift your back knee up. Inhale the sides of your body long, keeping the hips parallel to the front edge of your mat. And exhale, press out from your pelvis into your feet. As you press into your feet, lengthen through the spine and open the heart, so that that connection to the ground gives you a greater connection into your body. And then inhale, step your left foot forward into downhill skier pose with the elbows on the knees. Open the heart. Exhale here. And then inhale, press yourself all the way up, reach up, sweep your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, downhill skier. Inhale, lengthen the spine, open your heart. Bring your hands down and step your left foot back. Inhale, hips parallel to the front edge of your mat. Exhale here and press out. Press out and down into the feet so that you don't want the pelvis to just drop. You want to actually feel that your pelvis is supported. And if this is too much with the leg straight in the back, you can always bring your knee down. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Palms flat on the floor. Inhale, come onto all fours and lengthen the spine, open the chest. And then exhale, child's pose. And then inhale, come up to all fours and step your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand for lunge. And either keeping the knee down or lifting the back knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, press out through your legs. Again, as you press out through your legs, you want the hips to stay parallel to the front edge of your mat. And as you inhale, you're going to step your right foot forward into downhill skier. Downhill skier. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, downhill skier. So these are the sun salutations. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Bring your hands to the floor and step your right foot back. Lunge. Inhale, hips parallel to the front. And exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Bring your knees down and take a breath in on all fours. Opening the chest. And then child's pose. Letting the weight release into the legs, into the arms, relaxing the abdomen. And then inhale and come onto all fours and bring your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand. Right foot forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and pause. And then inhale, bring your left foot forward, downhill skier. And after your exhalation, inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Last side. You okay? Inhale, reach up. Exhale, downhill skier. Inhale, lengthen, open your heart. Exhale, left foot back. And then downward facing dog. Inhale down onto your knees. And then take child's pose to rest. So at home, if you're doing the sequence and you're not able to follow each pose with the breath, don't worry about coordinating the movement with the breath. It's more important that you breathe comfortably, and then as you begin to learn the sequence, then it's going to be easier then to coordinate the movement with the breath. So it's, again, remembering our highest principle, our first principle, which is to be guided by your own inner wisdom and your comfort and stability. So go with that first, and then breathe as normally as possible. Come up onto all fours and step your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. Inhale and lunge. Exhale. Inhale, downhill skier. And inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Awesome. Okay, you can relax your hands and then stand to the middle of your mat. Bring your feet closer together for tree pose. So spread your toes and root down through the four corners of your feet. And then keeping the legs strong but knees soft, bring your left foot up, either to the inner ankle or the inner calf or the inner thigh. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. With your next inhalation, you can stay here with the hands on the heart or raise your arms up, separating your arms and your hands. Feel the connection to your roots, your ancestry, and then to your body and your baby's body, practicing together. Good, inhale and exhale, release. Feet together and grounding down through your left foot, lift your right foot up. Again, you can go to the inner ankle, inner calf, or inner thigh. And then raising your arms up if you choose. Bring full body breaths. And then inhale and exhale to release. Good. So now you'll come to with your back to the wall before we do the other standing poses. And we'll do some abdominal toning and then some pelvic toning. So bend a little bend in your knees. Bring the upper back to the wall. And feel that space in the middle back that's coming away from the wall. And with your hands holding baby, inhale, lengthen your spine. And then exhale through your mouth as if you're exhaling through a straw. Inhaling and then exhaling through the mouth. And you want to feel the abdominal wall hugging baby. So it's a warm embrace. It doesn't have to be very harsh. Just feel the tone from the outer waist drawing into the navel. That's it. At the same time, in the back will be more flat against the wall as you exhale. That's it. Really listening to baby and seeing where baby is, and baby might start to kind of push the walls away. You want to be in tune with that.
Feeling the lack of space.
Yeah. less is more. Less is more with these types of things. If you're earlier on in your pregnancy, then there's a little bit more room in there. If you're later in your pregnancy, then there's not going to be so much room. Good. And then just relax. And then now we'll work with the pelvic floor. So you can have your hands just under baby, closer to the pubic bone. And as you inhale, you want to lift the pelvic floor. And visualize lifting all the way up through your crown of your head. So the energy is moving upwards. And then as you exhale, you simply relax the pelvic floor. Relax the belly. Relax the body. Inhale and lift the pelvic floor, contracting the pelvic floor muscles, like the Kegel exercises. And as you exhale, you soften. And then do that a few more times. Concentrating on the energy rising as you contract the pelvic floor up and exhaling to relax. And these pelvic floor exercises are really important to do throughout the day. Just finding those moments where, you know, whether you're driving or taking care of your other children, or that you find these moments just to inhale and lift the pelvic floor, get really connected with the pelvic floor, because you're gonna need to understand that region when you're giving birth. And one more time, inhaling and exhaling. Okay. And then release. And come back to your mat. So the pelvic floor exercises, they're often, some of my students and clients have explained, like, it's like an orgasmic feeling. Like, it's, because it's really the energy rising up. The energy rising up from the pelvic floor all the way to the crown of the head. So you want to visualize that energy moving up. And that way you're not just working in the pelvic floor, but it's actually the whole body that's moving that energy upwards and contracting and strengthening the body. So let's do warrior pose. So face that way with your feet wide. And turn your toes to the right, aligning the feet so your right heel is in line with the left arch. And that back foot, the toes turn in slightly. Inhale, lift your arms up, and warrior two. Exhale, bend your right knee over your ankle. Okay. Keep the hip creases soft, so the front of your hip crease moves back. So fold forward a little bit. And then draw the tailbone down and lift your lower belly. Inhale, lift the pelvic floor, lengthen all the way to the crown of your head, and as you exhale, press out. And you only go as low as you feel comfortable and stable. Feel the connection of that rootedness in the feet that allows you to rise up into the crown of your head. So we want to make sure that as we're grounding, as we're feeling that connection to Mother's past, that we're allowing that connection to make us feel more connected with our own bodies. And then exhale here and inhale to come up. Good, and change sides. Toes to the left, feet on the same line, and your right toes turn in as well. Inhale, open your arms, and exhale, bend your left knee over your ankle. Once again, you want the hip creases to stay soft, so especially the front hip, we tend to push it forward, so we want to move the hip crease back, feel like you're folding forward, and then scoop the buttocks under, especially the left side. Tailbone draws under. Inhale, lift the pelvic floor up, and then exhale, soften the shoulders, relax the pelvic floor. And throughout the practice, you can use the pelvic floor exercises and get your quota in for the day. And then when it becomes too much, then you just stop and breathe normally and hold the pose normally. exhale, step your feet to the front of your mat. Now step your left foot back with the hips parallel to the front edge of your mat for warrior one. Bring your hands to your hips. The back heel is down and the feet are on separate tracks. Bend your front knee to a square. You'll feel a stretch through your back calf muscle. So just adjust that foot so your heel can stay down. And then take your arms forward and up. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, press out through both legs. The more you press down into the ground, the more you root, the more you want to rise up into your own body and feel kind of your connection to your body, to baby's body. Feel that you're really, that you're practicing with baby. The prenatal practice is different than the regular practice, as it's really designed to be about both of you and not just for your body, but also for baby's body. Good. And with your next inhalation, come up and out of the pose. Second side, right foot forward. Right foot back, left foot forward. And then with your hips parallel to the front edge of your mat, so you're going to have to make an effort to turn the hips forward, bend your front knee to a square. And then if you have to adjust the back foot, you might have to move it out or in. Inhale, lift your arms up. The heel stays down in the back foot. That's it. Feel the lift of the lower belly, lifting from the pelvic floor as you inhale. And exhale, lengthen your tailbone down, crown of the head up. So you root down to rise up through the crown of your head. Just feel this grounded stability in the body. And at the same time, a lightness that comes from knowing that you're not alone, that you're part of this lineage now. After your exhale, inhale to come out of the pose and step forward into mountain pose, the feet hip distance apart and the arms by your side. And keeping the knees soft, climb up onto all four corners of your feet, lift the arches of your feet, and then even lift your toes up without locking the knees, so keep the knees soft. Keep the lift of your arches and release your toes down. Breathe in, lift the pelvic floor, low belly, and exhale to soften from the shoulders down into the earth. And then turning to your right, take a wide stance once again. Turn your toes to the right and align heel to arch. So we'll go back into warrior and kind of embody and celebrate this new phase, this new lineage that's being created, that's starting with you. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, bend your right knee over your ankle. And then turn your right palm up. And then as you inhale, lift your right arm straight up. Lengthen the tailbone down and soften the shoulder blades on the back. That's it. And then really rooting into the ground, connected to your lineage. Inhale, take the reins and lift your right knee up, straighten your front leg, and reach up to the sky. It's kind of this connection to our lineage and then an affirmation of our part in the next chapter. And then inhale and release your arm and turn to the left. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your left knee. Good. Turn your left palm up. Inhale and revolve involve warrior goddesses. That's what I think of women. Women are the warrior goddesses. We're like the peaceful or the silent warriors, you know, because we just do our thing and we don't complain about it. And then inhale and press your feet down and rise up through your legs and open the heart. It's like you're taking the baton for the next chapter, the next era. And then inhale to release. Exhale. Step your feet forward. How do you feel?
Tired.
Yeah. Well, the warrior goddesses are done now.
Yeah.
Inhale, lift your arms up. Take your feet wide and then bend your knees and bring your hands down. Step your feet back and come onto all fours. Lengthen your spine. Exhale and soften the heart. Press into your fingers. Let's take a few breaths here. And then you just move your hips from side to side, even the waist and the hips from side to side. Kind of bringing a little bit of, like as if you're rocking the baby from side to side or swinging the baby in a hammock. Baby is kind of in a hammock. The hammock of your body, of your skin and muscles. Good. And then come back to center. Take your knees wide. Take child's pose. And here to restore some of our energy from the standing poses, because standing poses can take a lot of juice out of us. So we want to restore that energy. I mean, that juice does come back, but while we're practicing, it can be very fatiguing. So we're going to do some vocal toning here in child's pose. So you want to visualize the pelvic floor. Are your knees okay here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So visualize the pelvic floor and the pelvis and the connection you have with baby. And we're going to tone the sound of M. So just the humming sound like the bumblebee. And you just go with your breath and you keep going. And a little bit deeper in the pelvic floor, the sound One more. Just breathe comfortably. And then slowly come up to sitting. And sit facing the right side with your legs wide like this. And I'll actually have you sit up on a blanket. So we'll put a blanket here. Yeah. You want to sit up on something so that your lower back is drawing in and up and that you don't feel like you're falling or rolling backwards. You might need more than just a blanket. You might need some cushions. So with your feet wide, inhale, lengthen your spine. Lift your toes up. And exhale, twist to your right. So just turn to your right. Relax your gaze. And feel the twist as a spiral action all the way up through to the crown of your head. The head and the neck are the last to turn, and it's a very gentle turn through the neck. So we don't want to force the twist in any area, but especially the neck. Good. And then inhale back to center. Exhale and twist to the left. So the sides of the body lengthen as you inhale, and then turn the right side of your waist over as if you're bringing baby over to the left. And what's important in twists is that the pelvis stays steady. The pelvis is kind of turning in the opposite direction of the shoulders. So you're keeping the pelvis or the hips parallel to the front of the mat. And then inhale to come back to center. Exhale here. Bring the soles of your feet together into butterfly or Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose. And you can either hold your ankles or bring your hands behind. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, open the hips. If you're earlier on in your pregnancy, you can fold forward as well here. And if you have space to fold, then you fold. But you want to also respect baby, so it's not just about the opening of the hips, but it's also you're opening the hips to create space for yourself, but also space for baby. So when you fold forward, you don't want to, take that space away. Let the breath be natural, comfortable. One more breath. And then inhale and come up. And then you're going to bring your left knee up, and you're actually going to bring bend your left foot behind. Yeah. And your right foot comes to touch the inside of your left leg. That's it. So we'll do a series here of poses. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, you're going to lean to your left and reach your right arm alongside your ear. So you're stretching the right side of the body open. You can think of lengthening as you inhale and then side bending as you exhale. And so this sequence is really meant to cool the body down, kind of bring the energy back into the body after those strong kind of warrior goddess poses. Really opening of that right hip as you press the knee down. And then inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, lean to your right. Lower the left sitting bone. Let it be all about the breath here. Connection with baby. Inhale and reach both arms up. And as you exhale, this time you're going to twist to your right. So you turn to your right. And then bring your hands down, just to your knee. Yeah, so upright twist. Yeah. And you keep the pelvis in the center. So because of the position of that left leg, the one that's bent behind you, that left hip will want to turn. So we want to try to keep the hip moving down towards the floor. That being said, because of the position of the leg, it's actually not dangerous for the hip to lift, but we want to just kind of practice, train the body to come back to center, especially in the pelvis. And chest opens to that right side. And relax the shoulders. Inhale and come back up to center. And exhale, change sides. So carefully bring your left foot forward and bend your right knee. Adjust the legs and the knees for comfort. And on the back foot, make sure your foot is pointing straight away from the knee. So from the knee to the foot is one straight line. You want to make sure that you're not in the W sitting, like you don't want the foot to be at 90 degrees. So, and then inhale, lift your arms up and leaning to the right first. Exhale to the right. So you're stretching the left side of the body. And when we stretch the sides of the ribs, we're actually stretching the tissues around the lungs. So we're giving ourselves more space to breathe. Especially as the baby grows, if we're not doing anything to stretch that space for the body, we just start to feel the breath gets really, really shallow. And then inhale, lift both arms up. Exhale, lean to the left and stretch. You can make the stretch more about what's happening in the upper ribs. So not so much, that you might feel a stretch in the lower belly, but that's try to find it more in the upper ribs. And as you inhale, reach both arms up. Steady the hips and turn the waist to the left and bring your hands down. You're into the twist, left hand behind, right hand to your thigh. And the chest turns from the right ribs to the left. And then relax the shoulders. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. Good. Sit with your feet towards the short edge of your mat. And we'll stay sitting on the blanket here. So Dandasana, staff pose. So legs out straight. And then you'll take the strap around the feet. So if you have a belt or a towel around the feet, and then you lengthen the spine. So you pull on the strap and you lengthen up through your spine, soften through the middle back. Again, getting this strong connection with the ground under the heels and under the buttocks. And using that connection to your roots to feel more connected with your own body and with baby's body. Good. And then you'll keep your right foot in the strap and you'll bend your left foot in towards your thigh. So it's kind of like tree pose. The foot bends into the thigh, and then you hold the strap with your right hand. Inhale, lengthen, and with both hands, you hold it with both hands. Inhale, lengthen, and you turn your belly a little bit towards to face the leg. And then depending on where you are in your pregnancy, if you're in first, second trimester, you can fold forward. If you're in third trimester, then your fold will probably be right here. We want to make it about the stretch in the back of the leg and the connection of the heel pressing down. Because we're sitting on something, we want to make sure that the knee is not pressing down into its depth. So the knee should not touch the floor here. Especially in third trimester when the relaxin starts to get into the joints and the joints get really, really flexible in preparation for, as the body prepares to deliver, you want to make sure that you really take care of the joints so that you're not hyperextending so much. Good. And then inhale and come back up. And change sides, so the left foot in the strap and your right foot in your right thigh. Spread your toes in front, inhale, lengthen your spine, holding the strap with both hands, and then maintain a long spine as you hinge forward in your hips. So you want to make sure as you're folding forward that you're hinging in the hips and you're not folding, you're not rounding the back over baby. So it's really about going with whatever space that you have in the hips. And as baby gets bigger, that space will be less and less, so you won't be able to fold so much. The back stays long and the heart moves forward. Feel the stretch on the back of the leg. More in the muscles of the calf or the thigh, less in the back of the knee. So if you feel it pulling in the back of the knee, just bend the knee a little bit more. Engage the muscles of the leg so that you're supporting the stretch with a little bit of tone in the leg. One more breath. Inhale and come back up. And once again, place both feet in the strap for Dandasana. And holding the strap, inhale, lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders. Just feel the connection to the earth, to your roots, and the opening of your heart. The spaciousness, more space as you lengthen the spine, more space for baby. Even if it's just a millimeter. Good. And then release. And then rest on your right side. Right side? Left side. Left side.
Right side gives me heartburn.
Rest on your left side.
How did we do this last time?
Yeah, with that, and then we took the bolster. So lying on your left side, support your head with a pillow, and you can either bring a cushion, so I'll just show a cushion between the thighs. You can have a pillow between the thighs, like so, just like this, or you can have the knee on the cushion. So you just bring this in closer, like that. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Relax the body. Relax your eyes. force that moves through you, through the breath. Feel that. Feel the presence of baby as you breathe. And as you recognize the sensations of your body, your breath, and baby's body resting here, know that you are being supported by the earth, by the ground. The earth representing Mother Nature and the lineage of mothers that came before us, before you, that support you in your own journey through motherhood. And their presence is in your DNA. And it vibrates with the same energy as it did when they were giving birth. To you, to your mother, to your grandmother, your great-grandmother, to all those that came before you. So rest here with your baby in the embrace of Mother Nature. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Notice your body and baby's body and any new sensations that might have come up as you rested. Move your fingers and your toes. And when you feel ready, press yourselves up to sitting. And just take a comfortable seat. You can sit on the cushion. So with your eyes closed and your one hand to your heart and one hand to baby's heart. Rooted in the embrace of Mother Nature and all the wonderful and brave women who came before that you can now take the baton into motherhood and celebrate this chapter of your lineage. And let's close the practice with one sound of Om, honoring that lineage that has paved the way for this moment. Take a deep breath in. Om.